Hello and welcome to the 11th episode of Stay Nerdy, my friends. In today's episode, we're going to talk about black holes. I'm going to keep it simple, for the most part. And we're also going to talk a little bit about time travel again. But only as it relates to black holes, because black holes do make it possible to travel in time, technically. Now, the first thing I want to talk to you about is, first of all, I'm going to be drawing stuff a little bit during the video, because otherwise there's no way. It's really hard to explain this, and some people won't get it. So, first of all, a lot of people think the black holes just look like that. Now, that's not what a black hole looks like. Mainly because a black hole is a three-dimensional object. So a lot of people think of black holes as sort of like just a hole in a wall. So like if there were a black hole in this room, it would not be up against the wall. It wouldn't be a hole in the wall. It would be floating in space. It would be a three-dimensional sphere, basically, of darkness. And it would be, causing lots of chaos and craziness. Now, that's a little complicated, and it's going to get a little bit more complicated because someone asked me in an email, and that's what this episode is about, is what happens when two black holes come in contact with each other. And I'm really glad that somebody asked me this, because it's one of my favorite things to think about and to talk about and sort of to just think about, really, because it's really interesting how similar black holes are to our galaxies. And as a matter of fact, most theoretical astrophysicists think, well, I guess you can just call them theoretical physicists, most of them think that at the center of our galaxies there are black holes, and that's what caused everything to form and make this galaxy. And you can see these really massive stars kind of moving and slingshotting around some object at the center of our galaxy. And if I can find that, I'll post a link to that in the description. It's really interesting to look at. If there's nothing in the description, I highly suggest you do your own research on that. So anyway, here's what happens. First of all, if we're going to assume that the black holes are spinning in opposite directions, and basically, because if they're spinning in the same direction, they just go right into each other, just like that. That's boring, but that's the boring answer, is that if they're spinning in the same direction, they just get pulled into each other. Now, for maximum effect and for maximum awesome, we're going to assume that they're spinning in opposite directions. Now, first of all, if one of the black holes is smaller, it'll look kind of like something going down a toilet or down a sink. It'll just sort of spin and kind of slingshot around, and eventually it'll end up in the center of the black hole, just like that. Now, that's kind of boring. What I'm going to talk to you about is what would happen if the two black holes were exactly the same size and were spinning in opposite directions, because that is really fascinating. If the two black holes were the same size, they sort of act the same way that galaxies do when they come in contact with each other. They do what is known as the sort of misnomer as the dance of death. What'll happen, and like I said, this happens with galaxies as well, is this one will kind of come around and slingshot around, and this one will come around and slingshot around that one, and it'll just, keep doing that and sort of a figure-8 thing until finally, at the center, they come in contact. And then there are two different widely accepted ideas of what happens. First, I have to explain, when you're close to the event horizon of a black hole, which is the point of no return, time seems to speed up. So it's a way to travel forward in time and not age. That's a real thing, because gravity affects time, and that goes back to kind of what I said in my time travel episode. Time is not an illusion. How we perceive time is. It's really confusing, and we're trying to stay simple. So what'll happen, since when you approach the event horizon, if you were to find a way to come right before the event horizon and then escape, which not only would be really hard to do, it's also really dangerous, because if you go into the event horizon, you will have a really, 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 really violent death, sort of being crushed and shredded at the same time. on a molecular level, no, nonetheless. Anyway, not getting into that. What happens when these two come in contact, one of the interesting version of what happens is these two black holes will, the second that they come in contact at the center, they'll disappear. Because they're affecting each other, they both went further in time. They'll either disappear or just kind of stop moving, and then in the blink, and then at some undetermined location, at some undetermined time, I should say, it might be a second from then, it might be 300 million years from then, but more likely it's only a couple seconds from then. A black hole will appear where the two came in contact with exactly the same density and volume of the two black holes. I'm just sort of quickly drawing this in so that you can, as a placeholder, and that's what happens. The boring version of what happens is that the two come in contact and they just sort of glob together. Like, think of it as two pieces of clay glomming together, and then, you know, it's exactly the same size. It has the exact same density as the two globs of clay, and it has the exact same volume because you can't spontaneously create matter. So that's the boring version. I personally like the version where they snap out of existence and snap back into existence. But the main thing about science is that it doesn't matter what you like, it matters what can be proven by empirical evidence, and neither can be proven by empirical evidence. So, yeah, awesome. Thank you for watching this episode. We are going to be returning to black holes a lot over the next couple months. Mainly because black holes are really interesting, and a lot of people have a lot of confusion about them. But anyway, thank you for watching this episode of Stay Nerdy, my friends. I'm actually entered into a contest called Axe Apollo. And what that is I could have a chance to actually go to space. So I'm going to put a link in the description. Just click on it. Vote for me. The link should go right to the page to vote for me. But in case it doesn't, just vote for Sean Johnston, SeanJohnston. If you have any questions about the black holes, or if you have any ideas for future episodes, talk to me on Facebook or email me at staynerdy@gmail.com. Also, I'll put that in the description. I haven't been doing that. Share this video with everyone that you know. Like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you want to keep learning interesting stuff like this. It's a good channel, trust me. So, other than that, stay nerdy, my friend.